Going to question 6, we always start with the prompt, and here it's asking us for the main idea. So let's start reading. In this year, this physicist posited the existence of a crystal consisting of electrons in a honeycomb structure. This crystal remained largely conjecture, however, until other people announced in 2021 that they had captured an image of one. They trapped electrons between two semiconductors and then cooled the apparatus, causing the electrons to settle into a crystalline structure. By inserting an ultra-thin sheet of graphene above the crystal, the researchers obtained an impression, the first visual confirmation of the Wigner crystal. So, we're seeing that in the beginning, physicists were positing the existence of a crystal, or one physicist was. So in other words, he thought that there was one, even though he didn't officially have evidence yet. The so-called Wigner crystal was largely conjecture. Conjecture means guesswork, something that's not backed up with evidence, until these other researchers captured an image of one. Then the passage explains how they did it, and finally, it resulted in the first visual confirmation of the Wigner crystal. So, which answer is talking about this? Researchers have obtained the most definitive evidence to date of the existence of the Wigner crystal. That sounds pretty good, because that's exactly what we see in the last words, the first visual confirmation of the Wigner crystal. Researchers have identified an innovative new method for working with unusual crystalline structures. It wasn't about that, even though that was mentioned. It was more about whether or not there was a Wigner crystal. C. Graphene is the most important of the components required to capture an image of a Wigner crystal. Well, we're not seeing what's the most important element. We just see the story of how one was actually done and why that mattered. D. It's difficult to acquire an image of a Wigner crystal because of the crystal's honeycomb structure. We're not really seeing anything about the structure being the hard part. If anything, the structure is what helped them to make the discovery. So if anything, the structure is what helped. So the answer is A, basically saying that researchers have found evidence of the Wigner crystal. And my problem with A might have been that it was the most definitive evidence to date. Like, how do we know that there wasn't some other evidence in the future? So if there were a better answer choice, I might have even picked that instead. But then again, the year where they made the discovery was pretty recent. So maybe that's going along with the idea that it's the most definitive one to date. Like I said, if there were a better one, maybe we would have picked it, but the answer here is A.